"I'll give you 100 if you open the safe," the millionaire laughed, but the poor boy surprised him. The summer sun hung high above the city when 17-year-old Rainiel stood trembling inside the marble lobby of the Ariston Tower. His hands were rough, his shoes nearly torn, and his backpack carried every paper that proved he existed. Across from him stood Magnus Hale, a billionaire known for his cold eyes, towering reputation, and a safe no one had ever opened. The moment Rainiel stepped closer, Magnus smirked with amusement and tossed out a challenge that echoed across the hall like thunder. If the poor boy could open his legendary safe, something experts, engineers, and computer geniuses had failed to do, he would give him $100 million. Everyone expected the boy to freeze. Everyone expected him to fail. But no one knew what desperation and a broken past could teach someone. Before we continue, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and stories that remind us of humanity, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness Hub. Your support helps these stories reach more hearts. Rainiel wasn't there for money. He had walked 10 miles to reach that tower for a job, any job, after months of caring for his sick younger brother alone. Their mother had passed away quietly the winter before, leaving nothing behind except debts and memories. Rainiel had worked at construction sites, cleaned shops at midnight, and carried loads at the market just to keep his brother fed. But medical bills kept piling up, and the world never slowed down long enough to show mercy. When he heard the company was hiring cleaners, he showed up. That should be been the end of it until Magnus Hale noticed the boy staring at the giant silver safe mounted in the executive hall. Rumor said the safe was unbreakable, containing something so valuable that even Magnus's most trusted advisors weren't allowed near it. People laughed when Rainiel stepped toward the safe, because to them, he was just another desperate boy. But something about the structure pulled him in, not greed, but grief. The intricate patterns, the faint scratch marks on the metal, the strange hum behind its mechanism, these weren't random to him. His late mother had once worked as an assistant for an old locksmith, and on nights when she struggled to sleep, she taught Rainiel everything she learned. The way metal breathes, the way heat shifts on surfaces, the way listening not touching is the real skill. As sunlight poured through the tower's glass walls, Rainiel placed his ear against the cold steel. For a moment, the lobby fell silent, filled only with the heartbeat of a poor boy chasing hope. Magnus crossed his arms, amused, while executives exchanged smirks. Rainiel closed his eyes and let the world slip away. He could hear faint clicks, too light for machines, too delicate for digital systems. This safe was not about brute force, it was a puzzle of memory and patience. He ran his fingers along the edge and felt tiny heat variations. Numbers whispered through his mind as he turned the dial, the temperature shifting at each combination like a small sigh from the metal. Sweat slid down his forehead, but he didn't let the tension break him. Every second he thought of his brother waiting at home, counting coins to buy medicine. Every second he remembered his mother's voice telling him never to let poverty convince him that he was less capable than others. Minutes stretched like hours until Magnus finally raised a brow, no longer amused. The boy was too focused, too sure. Rainiel made one final turn of the dial, waiting for the shift in temperature, the tiny mechanical quiver his mother once told him about. When it came, a faint vibration barely noticeable, he pulled the handle. The safe opened with the softest click, but it echoed through the lobby like the roar of destiny. Magnus froze. The executives gasped. The boy stepped back in disbelief. Inside the safe lay a single envelope, yellowed with time. Not gold, not diamonds, not secret documents, just an envelope. Magnus's expression changed from arrogance to shock as he approached it with trembling hands. It was a letter from his father, written decades earlier, telling him the real measure of wealth was compassion, not power. He had locked it away because he didn't want to face it. And now a boy with nothing had opened not just the safe, but a truth Magnus had avoided his whole life. Magnus turned to Rainiel, but for the first time, his eyes weren't cold. They held something unfamiliar: humility. The $100 million promise had been made as a joke, a test of ego. But now it felt like a debt of honor. Magnus asked the boy what he truly wanted, expecting greed. But Rainiel only thought about his brother and whispered for a chance, just a chance to work honestly and provide for him. Nothing more. The billionaire's heart shifted. Under the bright afternoon sun, Magnus announced that Rainiel would receive the job he came for, full benefits, full support, and medical care for his brother. But more than that, he handed him the full promised amount, not as charity, but as a reward for courage, skill, and sincerity. The lobby erupted in stunned admiration as Rainiel stood speechless. A boy who had entered the tower with worn-out shoes walked out with his life changed forever, knowing his brother would finally be safe. If this story touched your heart, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness Hub. Your support truly makes a difference. Before we end, please drop a comment telling, kindness can change a life.